Hi guys, welcome back to my TikTok. So I want to share, I've been sharing my narc story and just a lot that I went through and so again, when you come across this, you don't have knowledge, I'm a generous curse breaker. I've been breaking all these generous curses. So again, like I share, there was a lot of, when I first came across destruction, the devil got in the way. Again, the enemy comes and sends in counterfeits and all these things, and things, happen. You know what I mean? Like in my situation, the counterfeits, so many people were involved, all this stuff, and people behind the scenes doing witchcraft, and then this narc, you know what I mean? Like all this miscommunication, didn't communicate, all this stuff. I could, like I said, I went through a lot, and I'm still healing. I had a lot of trauma. I have a lot of anxiety and just so much. I mean, like it should have never gone down this, and that's why I want to share. I share a lot of my videos and talking about communication, talking about so much things because I've been through so much. Okay, and again, the enemy coming in, all these people that are jealousy, all this stuff. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I was fucking traumatized. And I mean, again, I'm a vessel of God's, and so in my walk and I found my relationship, and 15 years, I'm really deep in my calling now. So I know who I am. I know I'm called here. I have purpose. And so, but again, this is when a big thing, the devil, came in, you know what I mean? And like I said, I am a huge, huge light for God. Okay. There's no questioning it. I'm really good at what I do, obviously, because the devil doesn't attack what is not a threat to the kingdom of darkness. Okay. And like I'm telling you, I do what I do. I'm me. I love me. You guys, I learned on my journey how to love myself. Okay. And this is it's sad because, that's a whole nother video. But anyways, I've learned again what love wasn't to this, situation, what love is. He's taught me through his love, perfect love, cast out everything in my life, and he cast out so much fear, so much everything in my life, you know what I mean? And he just really genuinely loved me, and so that's what I share and on my page, a lot of this that I've been through and how you can feel loved and how God is going to be there for you. Even people that have been abandoned, even people, their parents alive, but they weren't able to take care of them the right way, or because of their trauma, because of generational things, right? And then they pass it down to the child. And, and I, like I said, I share all this stuff on my page of what I've been through, and so I find God in a relationship in 2010, and it really changed my life, and I post about it because, I mean, I genuinely feel this love that he's given me now, you know what I mean? Like, and I could be, been through so much, like I said, so much trauma, all this, nothing, exciting, you know what I mean? I love him so much. So therefore I go out here and share that with other people, you know what I mean? Through me. And that's a seed, I'm very good at that, obviously, you know what I mean? Obviously. And I know this, you know what I mean? Like in my situations, I'm not doing, my love is generally addicting. It's a spiritual thing. It's Jesus Christ that lives inside me, I generally know how to love. And when I go across people, I generally show that. Even with this narc in this situation, I generally show. Why do you think he's like, you know what I mean? Like that's the Holy Spirit though, you know what I mean? But I generally love people in this world, and I generally care about people. And again, in this situation, I generally, and I healed from a lot of this, you know what I mean? I don't cry about it. Generally cared, in the beginning, of this person, and wanted help to, help them change, you know what I mean? But you can't change people, okay? People have to want that change, and that's why I was going to do another video about influence, you know what I mean? And you have negative people, like this person had so many negative, nasty people that led him down a dark path. What he led him, you know what I mean? And in my situation, God calls me to lead a lot of people, to be a healthier version. No, he's telling me it's not my problem. You guys, I live my life. I'm healthy. I live a healthy life. I chose this journey for myself because I wanted it. It wasn't easy. Okay. And I had to let go and walk and do all this stuff. You know what I mean? I let go of this in the past, all this stuff which all that stuff that was going on. You know what I mean? And this person walked all over that because of, walked all over that, you know what I mean? Like there was not a lot of communication, you know what I mean? And anyways, and so, on this person's end. But there's so much things, you know, and I genuinely care for so many people, you guys, like, and it's unreal, you know what I mean? Because when it's Christ's love. But then this is what God taught me, when people abuse that, and that's what I went through in ARC. It was abusing, you know what I mean? It's not my job. You could go live your life however the fuck you want. That's another thing about real friends. You know, they want you to grow and evolve and be the best version of yourself. A real friend does that. You know what I mean? They don't want to see you sink in the ground and dug. You know what I mean? Like, but again, that's a whole nother video. But there's so much that I've been through. You know what I mean? And this person, you know, I try to help people, and that's, you know, their problem. You know, I'm not sitting there handouts. Nope, I don't have. You know what I mean? Like, people have to choose that for their life. You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's one thing God says. God gives us free will. God gives us a choice to choose Him and have a relationship with Him. That's what's so great. And I chose that in my life, and I sought that out in my life, and I have a deep connection. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I share on here, you know, I'm very firm. I'm not dealing with anybody's fucking shit, low vibrational shit anymore. You know what I mean? And again, in this situation, I was stolen from. I was taken a lot of my time, as I'm saying, but you reap what you sow, you know, and that's why I say, no matter what, you know what I mean? Like, you waste someone's time, God's going to waste your time. You know what I mean? Like, what you put out, what you get back. I want to affirm that really bad, really a lot. And, you know, I understand my assignment in this world. So I healed from that. You know, I generally forgive. You know, when someone's continually doing that, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta let those people go. Like, you know, my purpose was served. When I first came across these people, that purpose was served. You know, I wasn't fully healed. I wasn't fully evolved. I learned my spiritual lesson I needed to learn. And it's done. That's what happens in life. We go around, you know, as you're growing. That's what happened a lot in my life. That I had to let go of this people. Okay, they no longer serve my purpose. You know what I mean? And sometimes you'll come along people's path and see if they want to grow with you, and they don't. And bye-bye. You know what I mean? Okay? It's not your responsibility to take care of nobody. You know what I mean? In this world. It's your responsibility to get you where you need to go. You know what I mean? And if I'm choosing a healthy life and a relationship with God, you know what I mean? Like, bye-bye. And that's what I had to do a lot in my situations. You know what I mean? No matter what. And no, you know what I mean? Like, and again, and that's where I talk about all this stuff, you know, and, you know, relationship, all this stuff like that is not of God. You know what I mean? And, but this is your own journey. No one's going to do it for me. No one's going to do it for you or me. I've been on my own this whole time and continuing while helping lots and lots of people on my way. You know what I mean? That's why I share the demonic side of the narcissist, because I've seen all of it. You know what I mean? And, you know, and it's nasty. You know what I mean? And the side that the person showed me. And, anyways, but, you know, of using people, manipulation, and I was guided to, you know, generally be a light to people, you know what I mean? And just, that's why I share my story, you know what I mean? People choose, they have free will, they can choose whatever they want to do. I don't care, I know where the fuck I'm going, you know what I mean? But I generally care about people, so I try to help, you know what I mean? And I don't understand, like, and so people could receive that light, you know what I mean? Or the joy that I have, or the excitement, you know what I mean? Like, and that's all you could do. People have to make those steps in their own lives to do it. You cannot walk them, don't hold their hand. That's between them, you know what I mean? And then you have to go through the dark to get to the light, you know what I mean? And in your life, you know, and as you continue seeking that out in your life, you're going to start seeing life as you keep being directed by God. You know, all I could do is share my story and sort of share a little of my guidance so I could help people, you know, get to where they want to be, if they want to be healthy and whole in their life, you know what I mean, and positive. And like I said, I kicked out everybody. I'm not, no more. I've been fucking taking advantage of I just started, you know, a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, all my whole life I was giving. And no one was ever giving to me. Ever, you guys. I mean, so many tears, so many things I did. And I loved, don't get me wrong, it was part of my journey, part of my lessons, you know what I mean? But I gave and gave. And that's part of the journey and part of the lessons. And I did that. I learned all my spiritual lessons. Like, you know, whenever, you know what I mean? You're on your own in this world. You know what I mean? And, you know, God, and if you have real people in your life, real friends that generally care about you, I'm going to do all kinds of messages about frenemies. Again, this person wasn't my friend, you know, and chose to talk behind my back and do all this stuff. He's not my friend. That's not a friend. Friends don't put you down or lie behind your back, or, you know what I mean? That's not a friend. This person was never my friend. He was nothing, you know what I mean? I went through all this. It was, you know what I mean? And this connection, I broke.